So yeah, hey guys, good morning. My name is Vaidyanathan. I'm a former national level athlete, and I'm currently working for one of the largest automobile companies in the world, taking care of their export supply chain. And I'm also a coach in WQ community. I'm very proud of it. One of the main reasons how I became a coach is because of my mom's transformation, through her diabetes reversal. And I'm so grateful that, this community, my coaches, Indian Unna, and a lot more other people have been involved in this. And because of whom I'm a coach, and I'm grateful that, I'm able to share my knowledge to you about this topic called digital detox, right? Uh, Now, before I start with this topic, I just wanted to understand one thing. What is a digital device? Most of us have a confusion over here. We think that only mobile phones or the thing which has screens are a digital device. But what is a digital device? So you can see the big list over here. Your smartphone, your laptop, your tablet. Okay, I'm not talking about this tablet. I'm talking about the Apple tablet or Samsung tablet and things like that. Your desktop computer, your smartwatch, your TV, whether it's a smart TV or not, whatever it is, it's still a digital device. Your e-reader, something like Amazon Kindle, followed by your gaming console. Gaming console is something like PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Game Boy, Wii, VR goggles, whatever it is. The entire gaming console is like a digital device. Then comes your digital camera or the webcam, which is in front of us, right? Again, that is a digital device. The Bluetooth speaker, the earphones or headphones, a lot of people say just because it's a wired earphones, it's not going to affect them. I mean, trust me, it's not that your karmas are going back to the devices, not like that. It's just that wired and wireless is having a really a small difference in terms of the technology. One is connected to Bluetooth, the other is not, but most of the things apart from that are same. Then your fitness tracker, like for example your Fitbit, which is supposedly worn on the hand, that is again a digital device. Followed by your smart home assistants, like Amazon, Alexa, the Google Home. Nowadays a lot of things around our home are also connected through AI. Like for example, you would have seen in the movie Iron Man, like the Jarvis smart assistants, for him. So things like that. These are all digital devices, which we have. But I'm not limiting to this because these are one of the most frequently used devices in today's scenario, right? So the first question which people ask me is, does this really affect me? Right? Let me answer that for you. See, firstly, if you're connected in this particular talk, it means it's going to affect us, right? I'm not saying because of the talk. I'm saying because you're connected in front of a laptop, right? See, if you're sitting in front of a laptop or any other device for more than 2 to 3 hours, it's bound to happen. And I'm not saying each and every device separately put together. Maybe you might be using your phone for 30 minutes, laptop for 2 hours, maybe your Amazon Alexa for maybe another 30 minutes. So combination of all these things, if it is more than 2 to 3 hours, then there is a possibility that it might affect you. And for most working professionals, it's easily more than 8 to 10 hours per day, just the systems. Right? Then are you using blue filter protection for these devices? So there is a blue filter protection which usually comes with the laptop or any other screen which has a digital viewing platform. Are you using it? Have a look at it. Then are you working in poor lighting or lighting conditions, or is there any glare or any visual distractions for you? Then if you answered if you answered yes to any of these three, or any of the questions which you feel like you're viewing a lot, then it is going to affect a lot of us, right? Now the most important thing is, we know there are certain health impacts, right? For example, the eye strain. We say that sometimes you feel like having some kind of pain, or maybe some kind of itchiness, or whatever it is, that burning sensation. That is the eye strain. You don't feel like staying awake in the evening. To have a good time with your family. Going out in the evening. We might really we might think that that is because of the tiredness which we work all through the day. But yes, apart from the tiredness, it is what our eyes are straining because of viewing these kind of digital devices. Next comes the dry eyes. Like for example, the one which I mentioned about the itchiness, right? Now the dry eyes basically comes, when we are not blinking for a very long period of time, because the oxygen which goes into your eyes mostly goes through the cornea, right? It goes directly from the air. So when you're not blinking, and the tendency for the oxygen to go inside your eyes is very less. When you blink, the oxygen goes in. That is how it works, right? Then eye fatigue, like I mentioned, you come from work and then you feel like you're just dripping, you just want to get on the bed. This is one of the symptoms. And one another frequently told is myopia, or like short sightedness. When you're are not able to see objects which are far away, but you're able to see things which are close. It can be the opposite also, which is called hypermetropia. But most of the times, these are the impacts which we know. But there are a lot of other impacts, which we don't even consider about. These are the hidden impacts. Okay, let me start talking about the hormonal imbalance, right? Like there are certain hormones like melatonin, serotonin, cortisol, dopamine. These are different hormones which are there in the body, but majorly there are two hormones, which impacts our health. The first hormone is the melatonin disruption. So basically what happens is that because of the blue light exposure, so blue light is not the light, which is like blue in color. It is any electronic signal which comes from your digital device, any kind of electronic signal. Okay, so I mean, just because the screen over here is like kind of the reddish pink, it doesn't mean there is no blue light coming from this device. It is just that any kind of rays which is coming from your device is considered as a blue light exposure. So the blue light exposure from these screens usually suppress your melatonin production, and it affects your sleep and circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm basically means, like see, we all have a biological clock in our body. What time you're supposed to wake up, what time you're supposed to sleep, what time you're supposed to feel hungry. So there is a cycle for all that. The cycle tends to get disrupted, because of this blue light exposure. And most of the times we do see that, like see, for example, people who are working late hours in the evening, using the mobile phones, laptops late hours in the evening, people who are working night shift, right? Or people who use mobile phone, in their bed. So all these things affect their sleep, and ultimately, it even leads to multiple other issues, which I'll be talking about. But this is the one of the main things. It affects your sleep. It affects your interpersonal relation with your family, with your spouse, and so on. So that is something which has to be taken care of. The second is your cortisol level. Now, cortisol is basically a stress hormone, which is produced inside our body. So the prolonged usage of these digital devices, or the prolonged screen time, especially affects our stress-inducing activities, and it elevates your cortisol level. And now, how does cortisol impact your hormonal imbalance? Let me give an example like this. Okay, imagine there is a door. Okay, the normal door which you have, it has a lock. Okay, there is the original key. You lose the original key. What do? You have a duplicate key for yourself. The purpose is the same. Whether it's the original key or duplicate key, you want to unlock the door and move from one room to the other, right? That is what the cortisol does. It mimics like the original hormone in your body. Like for example, your thyroid hormone. Your thyroid hormone. If your thyroid gland is not functioning properly, this cortisol tends to mimic the thyroid hormone and impacts your thyroid levels. And this is applicable for every other hormone in your body, be it the glucagon, insulin, which is produced in your body, your adrenaline. All these things are impacted. So your adrenaline hormone, sometimes they say the stress is important in certain cases, but when your stress levels are extremely high for a prolonged period of time, then it has different impacts in our body. Like for example, what I mentioned, your thyroid levels, your insulin levels, your issue which are related to your kidneys. All these things. It does impact because of your cortisol elevation. Okay. The second impact is a fertility problem. We again don't tend to talk much about it, and by relating it to a digital device, but it does impact. But how? See, firstly, the sperm quality in men, right? See, using the laptops or any other digital devices on the lap. I mean, the name itself is laptop, but when you use it on the lap, what happens is that the heat which is produced from that laptop tends to increase your scrotal temperature. So usually your scrotum is 5 degrees lesser than your body temperature, but if it is higher, it affects your sperm quality and sperm motility, right? So I would encourage you people to keep your laptop on a table, or maybe use some kind of I mean elevated I would say a table or something where you're able to view the laptop instead of keeping it on your lap. Okay, there are a lot of I mean devices which you're getting nowadays. I mean, for example, there is a cooling pad which is there at the bottom, right? But still, even if the cooling pad is there, please don't keep it on your lap. Keep the cooling pad on top of the laptop so that you'll be able to view it at a better platform. The second thing is your reproductive hormones, like the testosterone in men and estrogen in women. Right? Again, the excessive screen time, which is associated with your sedentary, or your lifestyle, which is not very active. It impacts your hormones. like your testosterone and estrogen. So these are two main hormones for reproduction in men and women respectively. The third one, the electromagnetic radiation, right? We all talk about it. See, these devices create a lot of radiation, it impacts your health. But do you know these devices really impact a person's reproductive health? There are multiple studies which are still going on, how the electromagnetic radiation, impacts our reproductive system. For example, let me take this case. Most of the time we keep our mobile phone in our pocket, right? When you're at work, try to keep it outside. Maybe try to keep it on the table. Okay. Again, when you're, sleeping, don't keep your mobile, very close to your body, or try to keep it away from it, away from your body, away from your bed. And one another thing which I would like to recommend is that let there be a rule that there should be no digital devices entering the room, entering your bedroom unless and until it's necessary. Even the Wi-Fi, I would say when you're going to sleep, it's better you turn off the Wi-Fi because even that is a digital device. The Wi-Fi router, that's a digital device. It's better you turn it off. You know, so these are some of the places where that radiation affects our body without our knowledge. We might think, okay, it's a Wi-Fi, we're just using for the internet, but that still affects our body. Okay, there is one another thing which I want to talk about. Uh, See, these are some of the things which we usually have, but we don't know that it is caused with the digital devices. For example, the mental health issues, which I talked about recently, your increased stress, anxiety, some kind of sort of depression and all those things. It's partly due to one as the social media which we see and the constant connectivity with it. So what do I mean by that? Basically, see, we see a lot of videos in social media, which say that people having ultra lavish lifestyle. See, it's good. It's great to aim for a ultra lavish lifestyle. I really wish that all 550 of us in the screen are really that rich. But the thing is, we tend to underestimate ourselves in certain cases, or maybe we tend to have wrong mindset which pushes us towards depression. We might not really know what is the thing which they're really doing. Maybe some of them are just roaming, or maybe some of them are having a business trip. We might associate that with something else, and that causes a lot of stress, tension, and depression. We might tend to compare ourselves with them, right? Let's not try to do that. I mean, it's very difficult for us to implement it, but yes, these digital devices, the social media usually tends to impact our mental health issues. Second is your carpal tunnel syndrome. Now this is one important thing which I'd like to discuss, because a lot of people who are using the keyboard or typing or swiping, they tend to have a condition in our body which causes numbness, pain, or tingling effect on your arm, right? So for example, when you see, not a lot of us can keep the arm straight. It vibrates like this, right? Sometimes it vibrates like this. So because of that vibration, what happens is that uh, I mean, the nerve cells, or the nerve wirings which are surrounding your arms are impacted, and not just in your arms. Sometimes in your elbows, or your forearms. All these things get impacted, and we don't tend to notice it unless and until it becomes very serious. Sometimes our spouses, or sometimes our friends might be able to notice it. A simple thing. See, if you're able to keep your hand straight like this. If not, if it is shaking like this, then yes, because of a lot of typing or swiping, this is something which is bound to happen. The third is reduce attention span. Okay. Okay, now let me give an example over here. When we were young, or when I was young, how my mom used to feed me was, she still see, look at that crow over there, look at that cow which is walking over there, see, look at that moon which is on top. That's how I used to be fed. But today's scenario, I mean, the children are either given a mobile phone, laptop, they play something on the screen, and what happens is that these kind of things tend to impact their cognitive functioning and shorten their attention span. It even leads to difficulties with concentration and memory, not only in children, even for us. See, watching something and then eating, this is the same impact which is going to have, right? One, yes, it is not, your body is not going to absorb the nutrients, but yes, your attention span is also bound to be reduced. So be wary of that. Are we really doing the right thing? No, it's better that we have a specific time for social media, but not at each and every time. Again, the other one is we take our phones to the washrooms. I mean, let's tend to avoid that also, because that impacts us in different ways. I mean, one, yes, the carpal tunnel syndrome, which I told you, because we keep swiping here and there, but at the same time it impacts our cognitive functioning also. But it impacts us in one more ways, which we ignore it a lot, right? We call it the tech neck. When you keep your phone like this and keep swiping, in this manner, what happens is that your neck over here is having a lot of weight. It's like, a 30 kilo bag is put around your neck, and you're looking at your phone or your device like this. It'll be easy for us to tell, okay, now how is it possible that your head is hardly like 4 5 kilos, your brain is like 1.5 kilos, something like that, but still, how a 30 kilo load is being put over here. See, when you tend to decline yourself like this for a prolonged period of time, what tends to happen is that over I mean for a like for when it keeps increasing gradually, the weight your neck carries also tends to increase in that same manner, right? Maybe 10 minutes will be sitting like this, 20 minutes will sit like this, right? But after one point of time, what happens is that maybe like not day one, it's day two, day three, day four, for a prolonged period of time, it tends to impact our neck because of the posture, right? And it leads to a lot of pain. We might not really know that, but all these things are caused due to the digital devices. So that is why, let's ensure a proper posture also. Let's not carry the mobile phone in every place that we go, right? The second thing is our headaches. We when we work for a very long time, or maybe like when we are very stressed, we tend to have headaches. But extended screen time also can cause this, or migraines due to eye strain, our poor posture, or maybe like continuous screen glare. All these things are associated with headaches, not just the stress, or maybe the other issues which we generally talk about. These are some of the issues which we ignore it, despite us knowing that okay, maybe this is due to social media or not. I'm sorry, the social device or not, right? The next one is our physical inactivity. So you can see a person sitting on the sofa, like like a Maharaj, right? So I mean, see, I'm not saying that a lot of us, all of us do it, but a lot of us still do, right? We sit on the sofa the way we want, maybe put our legs up, and I mean, see, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you can just sit, like for some time and just to relax, but doing that for a prolonged period of time, it contributes to overweight, obesity, a lot of health problems, like from cardiovascular issues, diabetes, thyroid issues, because we are not physically active. We tend to be in that posture, and then we continue to be in that posture for a very long period of time. The next one is our hearing problems. Again, like I mentioned, whether it's a wired earphones or wireless, it's not that your karma is going back to the system, right? The prolonged exposure to all these things through headphones or earphones tends to like reduce the like hearing impact which is there in our hearing loss, right? So the question is, what can I do about it? Now, a lot of times, this is what I tell. See, the thing is, it's impossible that we keep our digital devices away, right? It's not possible. We can't live with our phone. We can't live without our laptop. We can't live with a lot of things. But there are certain things which we can do to overcome the impacts, right? Because see, if I tell that okay, you're not supposed to use your mobile phone or laptop, then it simply means that there is nothing which we can do, right, in terms of work. Okay, I mean, see, all the things that function in today's scenarios because of these kind of digital devices. I mean, even recently, day before yesterday, because of that Microsoft's that cloud impact, the entire world was disrupted. So it simply means that your digital device is very important. It's not that I'm going to say to ignore it, because our livelihood is based on that. But there are certain things which we can do. For example, the first is 20-20-20 rule, right? So look away from the screen for every 20 minutes for 20 seconds, which is 20 feet away, right? Every 20 minutes, look at something that's 20 feet away for 20 seconds, right? The reason why I'm trying to tell is, I hope you would have understood your eye strain is because of this. Your dryness is because of this, because you don't blink when you watch the screen. So when you don't blink, the oxygen does not get inside your eye. So watch something away for 20 minutes, for 20 seconds every 20 minutes. The second thing is, filling your nutrition gaps. This is very, very important. I mean, apart from what the physical workouts which we do today, like how Raghu mentioned, right? See, a lot of places and people concentrate a lot on exercise, a lot of activity which are there for your physical body. But what is the fuel that is going in? No, what goes in is what comes out. It's the same as the programming language. Whatever you enter is what output you get, right? So if you give the wrong input, we can't expect a positive output. Know how to fill the nutrition gaps. Why do I say gap? Because see, if there were no gaps, none of us would be facing any health issue today. Maybe a tech neck, maybe the tingling effect on your arms, carpal tunnel syndrome, or whatever it is. If we do not have a nutrition gap, nothing would be affecting us. We would be all fit, right? So think about it. The third thing is, stay hydrated. Drink water. 1 liter per 20 kg body weight. But it's not just normal water, because most of the times we forget that Electrolytes are very important, like potassium, calcium, magnesium. All these things are really important in our body. So ensure that your body is filled with electrolytes, not just water. The fourth one is the blue light filter, which I talked about. See, in certain cases, it comes like built in. In certain cases, there is an additional filter which you need to put, right? So these blue light filters does not impact your eyes, okay? Because these are the harmful rays, which goes into which goes into your eyes, and sometimes like can impact your nerves. So ensure that you have a blue light filter. There are a few more things which I want to share to you. One is, let's have a reduced screen time, especially before bed, right? Keep your mobile phone, every digital device away 1 hour before you go to sleep. And this will avoid a lot with your blue light interference. Okay, and it will improve your sleep quality, your melatonin production, better relationship within your family, and more importantly, it does not impact your hormonal imbalance. And what do I mean by digital device again? It's not just your mobile phone or laptop. It's better you switch off your Wi-Fi. And if you're keeping your phone away, it should not be like in just 1 arm distance. It should be in a place where you're getting out of bed and picking up the phone. That is how it should be, because the closer it is, the more like an effect it will have. Yes, some people do say, okay, instead of an alarm in mobile phone, it's better you have a small alarm clock. That is also fine. It would be your choice, but this is something which we would recommend you. Okay, the next is proper posture. Okay, sit straight. Ensure that what you see on your laptop is just in front of you, not like this, right? Because if you sit like that, what tends to happen is that, oh, sorry. So if you sit like this, what tend to happen is that you tend to have that technique. Yeah, it'll increase your back pain and your neck pain and all that. So sit straight, your back should be straight, your screen should be at the eye level, and ensure that you're at least having 1.5 arm distance between you and the particular screen, right? And use a good chair. I mean, a lot of ergonomic chairs are available, ergonomic furniture is available. It will support our neck, our back properly, so please use that. And more importantly, you connect with your coach, because see, whatever I mentioned to you till now are something which easily I mean, which is not easily applicable for everyone, right? See, for example, if you have a night shift, if you have a late evening shift, you can't really say that, okay, before 1 hour before I sleep, I'm supposed to keep my mobile phone away. I mean, see, working from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., it's not possible, right? But your coach will be able to tweak it for you. They'll be able to tell you what is right for you. Okay, because a lot of times when I hear people telling that, okay, this is what was suggested, but I'm just going to implement blindly, that is not how it's going to work. These are some of the suggestions which I'm giving, but what is necessary for you, your coach will be able to provide it. Okay, last but not the least, see, there is one thing, this is a testimony which I took from WQ. Okay, it is possible that we can do a lot of things for our body, right? See, for example, Pravina over here from Bangalore, she could reduce her eye power. Her cornea shape could be stabilized. She could even lose weight. All these things are combination of your nutrition, your exercise, your stress patterns, your sleeping patterns, the kind of community you belong to, and these kind of toxic things which are surrounded by us due to radiation, due to the air, due to the water. So it is all possible. Connect with your coach, and then they'll be able to support you the right way, or connect with the person who invited you. Having said that, thank you, and have a wonderful day.